Well, hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. I'm Richard and this is Lap of the World, your home for road trips and racetracks. Today we are installing one of these into that. Stick around. Now, if you've been following the channel for a little while, you already know that this is my 2004 gated manual Gallardo that I am setting up currently as a backup track car for the hopefully rare occasion that the NSX is down for maintenance. I can use this to still make it to track days or other high-performance driving events in that car's stead. This is a 2.5-pound Halotron fire extinguisher. That's kind of the largest size of conventional fire extinguisher that will fit conveniently in the footwell of this car without encroaching on passenger comfort too much. And it is Halotron because that means it is a gaseous-based extinguishing agent. So it, one, doesn't leave the powdery corrosive residue that a traditional dry chemical extinguisher would. And two, unlike a dry chemical extinguisher, this can actually extinguish a fire indirectly. What I mean by that is, let's say I have a fire in the engine bay, but I cannot get the engine hatch open. I can actually deploy this underneath the car and the gas will rise and still put the fire out. I actually have some close first-hand experience, not with any of my cars, fortunately, that validates that belief. So there you have it. But we're going to be installing this in that car today. Now, I had a clever, super cheap budget method of doing this that I used for my NSX. And I'll link that up in one of the corners. I don't remember where the card goes, but that method could work in here. But unlike the NSX, the Gallardo actually has a dedicated parcel shelf behind the seat that is easier to get to. You can slide the seat around. And since there's that actual intended to be storage back there, I wanted to maintain more of the sliding range of the seat. So we're going to be mounting this fire extinguisher on the seat slider hopefully using this kit from H3R Performance, which is a universal fire extinguisher seat mount that allegedly will attach to the seat slider and not just the seat mounting bolts. So it should move with the seat. I have left, admittedly, affiliate links in the description below to both this and this, as I found them both on Amazon. I did look around and I have seen other places that sell a Halotron similar gas-based fire extinguisher, and normally I'm a fan of supporting, smaller independent businesses versus going through Amazon, but not when there's a 200% markup for effectively the same thing. Not naming any names there, but yeah, we're gonna go get this all sorted, and I'll take you along for the ride. Starting with a small but helpful detail, park your car somewhere that you can open the door all the way. The Gallardo's doors open to nearly 90 degrees, and since I'm going to be removing the seat to install the bracket, I want to take advantage of that full range of motion. So, shooting from the paparazzi angle here, the first thing you're going to want to do, if it hasn't already randomly fallen out of place like mine tends to do, remove the seatbelt from its guide on the seat back. Now, fortunately, the belt is attached to the frame on both the top and the bottom, so that's kind of nice. You don't have to worry about that while you're removing the seat. Next, you're going to want to power the seat back all the way forward, and that'll take a couple of seconds. It doesn't have to go all the way forward to the maximum range of motion, but just far enough forward, it's probably good, to where we can get the seat back far enough that we have straight down access to these fasteners that hold it to the floor. You'll need a T45 Torx socket and a decent extension and a big-ish wrench to accomplish this. Please excuse the dog hair. We have corgis. It's just unavoidable. With the front two bolts removed, slide the seat forward and remove the two rear bolts. With all of the seat bolts now removed and the back still tilted forward, we can now tilt the seat backward, unveiling the wiring harnesses underneath. These will need to be disconnected. Now, this whole video should come with a caveat that I'm not a professional mechanic. This should not be misconstrued as professional advice, and I'm not liable for what it is you do in your own garage with this information. I'm simply showing you how I did something. Now, there is a zip tie right here that you'll need to clip. That doesn't really do anything. You can just run a new zip tie through the mounting tab once you're done, and then undo the couple of connectors over here, at which point we should be good to remove the seat. To help with the contortionist act required to disconnect the wiring harnesses, I did go ahead and prop the seat up with a block of wood right here. But having now disconnected the harnesses and not triggered the airbag in the process, we're ready to remove the seat. So I'm going to remove my block of wood. Then I'm going to tilt the seat out the door, being careful of the pointy bits. Actually, I'm going to tilt the seat forward a little bit more. Which you can do with this, there's a lever on the back that will lock it in its folded position. And I'm going to kind of tilt the seat out the door. It is not that heavy, but you do want to be very careful in manipulating it, particularly because of the pointy rails in the back. And now we can move on. Now, having landed our seat on a soft working surface, we should have access to the bits that we need in order to mount our extinguisher mount. Now it's time to get out our universal fire extinguisher seat mount kit and promptly realize that it is in no way universal and actually doesn't work for Gallardo seats. The expensive ready-made solution having failed, it was off to the hardware store for about $20 of aluminum stock and small hardware. And it was time to fabricate. And there we have our extinguisher installed in the car. Seat was back in. I had to make that in two pieces in order to still be able to get to the front seat bolts. So that added a little bit of complexity, but I think it turned out okay. In the end, what we have is we have our 2.5-pound fire bottle in the car here. And we have still retained the ability, you can actually reach the seat slider a little easier than I expected to be able to. But so the seat still slides. There is a decent amount of leg room. The seat is not all the way back right now. It's close to all the way back, but it's not all the way back. But yeah, you can pretty easily sit in there. I'll show you what that looks like. All right, so now ensconced in the car, you can see that it doesn't touch my legs at all. It doesn't inhibit my. There's no impact to my leg room. I'm relatively short anyway, so it's not going to matter a whole lot to me. But even with my stumpy little legs, it's not touching the back of my calves or anything like that. So I'll call that a success. And also, unlike having it mounted over here, there's no impact to my lateral leg room, so I can man spread to my heart's content, and I'll be just fine without touching anything. So I did use a couple of notes. I did use like cap nuts on the fasteners out here that you can actually see. A, because they're a little prettier, and B, because that means they're not going to like snag on anything. If you had some, a bag or something that you put down there, it's less likely to snag it. It's not an immaculate construction, but it got the job done. It got the job done economically, and it has a fire extinguisher now successfully installed in the car, and the car thus one step closer to being ready for track day. So in that, from those parameters at least, mission accomplished, even if we had a little bit of a miscue with the with the extinguisher mounting system. I don't actually know of, if you know of, a ready-made, off-the-shelf seat slider mount for a Lamborghini Gallardo, put it in the comments. I would actually love to see it. Maybe if it's enough of a cleaner solution and not hideously expensive, excuse me, I might consider upgrading that in the future. But for now, it gets the job done. It's not going anywhere. Obligatory. Obligatory. It's not going anywhere. Line there, taken care of now. So we should be good. Thanks for watching. Hopefully you found the video entertaining, if not informative. But we'll leave it there, and until next time, I'm Richard, this is Lap of the World, and I'll see you all in the next video, if not at the track.